Anyone who's been watching my videos for a while probably already knows what I'm about to say. Before I get started, I'd like to kindly ask that you hit the like button, and please subscribe to the channel for more content just like this.
Do or do not. There is no try.
One of my biggest pet peeves is when people try to convince me that it's good and say, well, it doesn't get good until episode 5. Or they say, well, you're just mad because there's not enough action early on. And that it's more about character development in the early episodes. Suddenly, Disney Star Wars apologists think they know what good storytelling is because it's convenient for their argument. But I'm here to tell you what's actually going on. The reason that a lot of us believe that this show is 90% filler has nothing to do with the amount of action sequences in it, and everything to do with a lack of proper storytelling.
Oh, you're right. And when you're right, you're right. And you're always right.
Some people would have you believe that all of this filler has just been character development for characters like Reva or Obi-Wan Kenobi. Except Obi-Wan's character hasn't been developed. If anything, he's regressed. They've added absolutely nothing to him, they've actually taken things away from him. And he's pretty much still the exact same person that we met in episode 1 of this series. Which, by the way, is not the same character we know from the prequel era or the old man from A New Hope. Obi-Wan has been dwarfed in his own series repeatedly, and that continued again in this episode.
I have a bad feeling about this.
And then we have Reva, the character that everyone says we need to be patient with. All the answers are coming, they're just building to something, right? But that's not what happened at all. Instead, we get an exposition dump in episode 5 that reveals Riva'S true motives. And it was designed to do exactly what Disney Star Wars loves to do, and that's subvert expectations. The truth is that we weren't building to anything the whole time we were with her. She just had an ulterior motive that the audience didn't know about to kill Vader, and I guess she was using Obi-Wan to get close to him. Even though she probably had numerous opportunities prior to this series to make a move on him. She expresses that she does have ill will towards both of them, because after all, Anakin was Obi-Wan's Padawan. And Obi-Wan did nothing to help the younglings that were being slaughtered during Order 66 at the Jedi Temple.
Oh shit!
Which might have been the most obvious reveal in history that Reva was a part of that, by the way. So suddenly, after playing Billy Badass for 4 episodes, Reva isn't all that bad, it turns out. Now she's a tragic figure. Okay, blow me. This is piss poor writing and development, and it did nothing to make her a better character. And by the way, her lines or line delivery still sucks.
That's right, it stinks!
Now, I'd be lying to you if I said that there weren't aspects to this show that were enjoyable this week. And all of these moments contain Darth Vader or Anakin Skywalker, by the way. Yes, we get flashbacks of a Clone Wars era training session between young Anakin and Obi-Wan Kenobi. And they do that thing where the lesson parallels something going on in the modern day timeline, which has pretty much been done to death cinematically, by the way. It is cool to see Anakin and Obi-Wan from the prequel era return and interact with each other, but does it really amount to anything other than nostalgia bait? Not really. And yes, they use the de-aging technology to bring it all to life, and yes, it still looks weird.
What the hell am I looking at? When does this happen in the movie?
And then we have the Darth Vader aspect of this show. And this is the part that has a lot of Obi-Wan Kenobi apologists pounding their chests, saying, see, I told you, everything is going to work out. And yes, in this episode we do see Darth Vader at full power, maybe in a way that we've never seen him before. First, when he pulls down a ship that is attempting to escape from him, which is honestly something I've always wanted to see in live action. And I've also always kind of wondered why he didn't do that at the end of Rogue One, but we'll just chalk it up to more story inconsistencies.
You snotty little bastard.
And then we have Vader effortlessly defending himself against a Reva attack with a lightsaber. And he does this cool thing where he's almost toying with her because he's so much more powerful than she is. He fends off her attacks using only the Force, and even breaks her lightsaber in half at one point. A lightsaber that miraculously repairs itself in the very next scene, by the way. And yes, he easily defeats her, as he should, and he reveals that he kind of knew the whole time that she was a youngling. Which offers up some questions as to why he allowed her to get this far, but there's really no bigger question than what happens next. Eventually, he disarms her, he stabs her through the chest, and then the Grand Inquisitor is revealed to still be alive with no real explanation as to how that is possible, and then Vader and the Grand Inquisitor allow her to live and they just walk away. Even if they thought that her wounds were fatal, why wouldn't they just finish her off?
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
She is a threat to them, well, a threat in name only, I guess. And she's clearly not dead because she finds the transmission that reveals that Anakin Skywalker's children are still alive, so clearly they're hinting at a future conflict. So I ask this question, why did they ruin such a great Darth Vader moment with such an oversight? It's like Disney Star Wars is allergic to sticking the landing on anything.
That makes sense.
And if you're wondering why I haven't mentioned Obi-Wan Kenobi much in this Obi-Wan series review, well, it's because he really doesn't do much per usual. He gets a little pep talk from Tala right before she dies dramatically to the sound of crickets from the audience, and he surrenders himself to help save some people, only to escape a few moments later. This was clearly the Vader and Riva'S show, and Obi-Wan stories are optional. So yes, there was some nice nostalgic moments and a very badass moment from Darth Vader himself, but those things aren't strong enough to cover the deficiencies of this show as a whole.
No shit.
I've said this many times before, one decent episode does not make a good series. A good series would have everyone invested from the very start, and we wouldn't need a cool Darth Vader scene to save us from our boredom. This is par for the course for Disney Star Wars. They always have flashes of something promising, but it typically all comes to a conclusion in a very unsatisfying way.
Fuck me, right?
There is only one episode left, so we can be thankful for that. And maybe after the final episode premieres, Rotten Tomatoes will stop hiding critic reviews of this series, so we can get a true look at how film criticism has truly fallen to the dark side. But don't worry, I'll be here being a new hope for all of you.
Y'all be cool. Nah.